Oh, did anybody actually think the performance would get better? I can't believe it got worse. Hello? Okay. The game literally freezes. Ah, I didn't know you could actually cast Remorseless Winter in the game, and look at this! What? What? In the end, all shall serve the Glitch King. I don't know what happened. I think what happened was we fought a Pokemon at the same time it died in Let's Go. That's my best guess. But in the end, although the Glitch King knows all, we, his faithful servants, can only speculate. Well, I guess we have to reform our party now. If you had Crash on your bingo board, you can go ahead and check that one off. Hello, and welcome to this review of Pokemon Scarlet, the Indigo Disk, the final wave of the DLC. You probably have a lot of questions. Why am I wearing a long white wig? It's a long and dark story. Suffice to say, I'm not very happy. You might even say I'm angry. And every angry reviewer needs a rant Sona, right? Time to summon him. I didn't press the right buttons. I hope you like my rant Sona. If I had to describe it in one word, I'd say, it's very inconvenient. As you can probably surmise by now, even if you're not the sharpest student in the shed, I didn't like this DLC. My rant Sona literally fell asleep. I guess he doesn't like the game either. Well, that's one complaint we can cross off the list. It's very boring. I'm sorry if I don't sound very enthused during this, but I've just played this game for 12 hours straight. You might wonder how I survived, and the answer is, I didn't. They brought me back to do this review. Let me rest. If you're looking for the super quick review of the— excuse me, can you get out of the shot, please? If you're looking for a super quick review of the DLC, as in, is it good or is it not? Well, here's my answer to you, delivered in character. Turn back. You will know endless torment. No, I don't think it's very good. Something interesting that I noticed was that I played both the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disk on the day they released, and in both of the streams I had about the same viewership, capped out at slightly over 300 viewers each. In the Teal Mask, there were actually a fair number of people actively defending the DLC, either saying they enjoyed it, or that it would get better in Part 2. In Part 2, nobody said anything positive the entire time. I wonder why. Start with the performance issues. People have been saying since the day Scarlet and Violet released that they will fix the performance. They never patched the base game. Teal Mask was even worse than the base game. And the Indigo Disk is even worse than the Teal Mask. The performance in the terrarium is horrendous. And in the swamp in particular, the performance is so bad that the game regularly freezes, and hey, if you're lucky, it might even crash. So no, they didn't fix the performance issues. Let's talk about graphics. Do you have eyes? If you do, you've probably seen the background that I've been using for this shot so far. This isn't an alpha build. This isn't a test area. This isn't some ambitious kid's Minecraft project. This is actually the environment that they expect you to explore in the game. This is real. This costs money. $35 US for this. And we're actually looking at the nice version. We're actually looking at it up close and fully rendered. You want a more holistic view? Using one of the new features, flying? Well, be careful what you wish for. I'll give you all you can handle, and more. Where is your god now? I abandoned the light long ago, and it looks like the developers of this game abandoned the lighting. I actually didn't think of that line beforehand. I think that was pretty good. Yeah, the lighting in this game is very bad. It's so bad. And hey, check out a live example of the pop-in. Ah, the frames. Do you believe me yet? Turn back while there's still time. Welcome back to my DeviantArt rant-sona. Now sometimes, lackluster graphics can be made up for with performance tricks, right? Cinematic flair. I'm not kidding when I say that the fake graphics that I make for my streams are actually better looking than the graphics you have to pay for by buying this game. I am 100% serious. It is unreal how lazy the presentation of this game is. It only continues to get worse. Here's an example. One of the things you can do is decorate a league room. You can't actually choose what goes in it, you can just choose a theme. I chose the dark theme. Can you guess why? The dark theme actually has a lot of nice looking things. It's kind of spooky, some nice portraits. One thing that's kind of interesting is that there's a fireplace, but instead of the fire, there's a slugma. Now, I'm not sure how Slugmalganus survived, but at first I thought, oh, it's cute, they used a slugma instead of a fire, but I think they used slugma because they just didn't want to have to make a fire. It certainly fits with all the other corners they cut. There's a guy that teaches you how to use throwing styles, although I don't have any evidence that he actually exists. He only exists as this specter haunting your computer, and then the text boxes and black screens that represent him will apparently teach you how to actually throw the Pokeballs. It is hilarious. He tells you to watch him throw the Pokeballs as the screen is pitch black. I'm not kidding. 10% of the population is left-handed, that's what I heard. If you're left-handed, I hope you've got $35 to burn. If you want to throw the Pokeball with your left hand, you gotta buy the DLC. You didn't have to pay for styles back in Gen 7. Did people actually like Gen 7? They certainly like it better than the modern games. Maybe because you got the throwing styles for free. You want to talk about the depths of depravity in terms of laziness this game sinks to. It is lazier than the base game. I didn't even know that was possible. In the base game, Koraidon pretends to eat a sandwich. In this game, he doesn't pretend to eat anything. It's just empty air. In this game all about sandwiches, they couldn't even model a sandwich. In a way, you don't even have to buy the DLC to experience it. The school in the base game is, for me, one of the most disappointing things. The school barely even exists. It's not really a place you can explore, right? It's just a series of interconnected rooms connected by loading zones. This game takes place in Blueberry Academy, a completely different school. Is it a different school? You could have fooled me. They copy-pasted the rooms. Your dorm room in Blueberry Academy is the exact same as your dorm room in the base game. They didn't even change the orientation. They literally just changed the color of the wall. That's it. The shop is the exact same, and the cafeteria is the exact same. Now, my rant-sona here is a big fan of inconvenience, so terrible news for him. That convenience reigns in the DLC. These vending machines, which I can't quite access using this very useful synchronization feature, the vending machines sell absolutely everything you could ever want. It's actually obscene how many things they sell. One of my main complaints about the base game, well, not main complaints, but one of the complaints was that to interact with this ridiculous sandwich mechanic, you have to run here and there everywhere to all these tiny stores scattered across the map just to buy cloth sticks so you can make a sandwich so you can encounter jump pluffs or whatever. All the sandwich ingredients are in one place here. They're stuffed in these vending machines. Technology is incredible. $35 US, by the way. Let's talk about the story. I didn't like the story of the base game. I thought it was lazily told. I thought it relied too much on cheap emotional manipulation, which of course doesn't work on me. since I cut out my heart long ago to suffer less damage from holy magic. But let's say that you're someone who did enjoy the original story and you were hoping to find out what happened to all your favorite characters, such as Penny, Nimona, and Arvis. Without any spoilers, let me just say that I'm also wondering. I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but in The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, you do in fact return to Area Zero, and Area Zero, I think pretty much everyone, even haters like me, will agree, was the best part of the game, for whatever that's worth. I don't think that's the case this time. The Area Zero segment is incredibly short. It's maybe 30 minutes? I'll just say that if you liked Final Fantasy XIII, the ultimate hallway game, you will love The Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. I wasn't exactly a fan of the teal mask, but I did think that the final battle, which was against Ogrepon, was actually kind of fun. It did have phases, or at least as much as you could recreate phases in a turn-based single-player game. The final boss of the Indigo Disk, I mean, I guess it's a spoiler, but it's Terapagos. I'm not actually going to show footage of the battle, but it's all the fun of raid battles brought to single player. I don't like raid battles. I didn't think the final battle was fun. It did have some kind of cool music though, which brings us to our next topic, music. Did you know that the Indigo Disk takes place off the coast of Unova? I couldn't really tell from any of the characters or the environments, but the music suggested to me that this was supposed to be in Unova. Fan games tend to be much better than official games, at least when it comes to Pokemon. And now, fan remixes are definitely better than the music that's in the game. The music in this part of the DLC is... it's bad. It's bad. I'm sorry. Is there a musical term I can use to better convey how bad it is? We'll use a musical term suggested by Tadpole43. It falls flat. This game makes me queasy. Well, here's 3 poison types arranged into a queasing! Only possible through co-op. Co-op is actually not useless in the DLC. It's useless in the base games, but in the DLC, being in a group actually does have some benefits. You don't actually interact with the people in your group, but you can do things in parallel that help each other. What things? You can do randomly generated menial tasks that award you with points. Our favorite feature from our favorite genre, mobile games. Only available at Blueberry Academy. It's awful. It's like Radiant Quest from Skyrim. Infinite content, am I right? Oh! Nothing unique, nothing fun. Some of them are as simple as move a set amount of distance. Is that gameplay? I guess. Is there anything positive I can say about the game? There actually is. I think that the people saying that this DLC would offer a challenge for players, I think that if you're talking about the average Pokemon player, as in, you know, a casual player who maybe clears the main story and then just goes around and completes the Pokedex, perhaps they're a child? I think for them, the difficulty of the story battles is about right. The major story battles, they all have 6 Pokemon, and although I wouldn't say they're using VGC competitive strategies, you do probably have to try a little bit. Of course, if you do actually know competitive strategies, they're a complete joke, but... and I'm not bitter about this. The difficulty of the mainline games isn't for competitive players. It's fine that they're on the easier side. After all, the second installment of the DLC offers a robust post-game battle facility where actual competitive battlers can test their mettle against opponents on equal footing. I'm lying to you, of course. There is no battle tower. Did you really think there would be? Did you know that legendaries are back? They showed you in the trailers. There's 2 special legendaries that are part of a side quest, I guess you could say, with returning favorite Perrin. In the Teal Mask, the Perrin side quest, I didn't like it. I thought it was just a terrible version of Pokemon Snap, but at least they tried something. In part 2, they didn't try. You can play GeoGuessr. If you guess the right location, you'll find the Paradox Pokemon. Standing there. I can't even say menacingly. They're just standing there. But that's just the Paradox Pokemon. You can also go and catch beloved legendary Pokemon from the previous titles that you encounter through talking to this guy in the lobby, and then he gives you hints about where to go find them, and then you can explore the open world. And once you find these legendary beasts out in the wild, you can stand next to them. That's all they're doing. Standing there. I can't even say menacingly. They're just standing there. Now, this is where I would say that the Pokemon franchise itself has been at a standstill, metaphorically, since the franchise seems to be frozen in time. Unfortunately, I can't even say that the Pokemon franchise has been at a standstill. If Pokemon simply didn't get better, I don't think I would be this disappointed. It's that it actively gets worse. Now, one of the things I try to do to try and make the streams a little bit more engaging is I try and prepare special graphics for special occasions that can play. I have one graphic that plays whenever we beat a student class trainer. Student schooled! This is actually the only graphic I needed for every single trainer in the second part of the DLC. Every single enemy trainer is a student. And almost all of them have only 2 Pokemon. Some have up to 4. I'm gonna take off this ridiculous wig to give you guys my final thoughts, okay? Thank you for unprompted using the Paladin emote. We're gonna get real dramatic here, okay? We can even put the Paladin overlay on. That's Death Knight. I'm a level 10, not quite Paladin, I'm a Paladian, so you can trust me, okay? We'd never lie to you. When I was a kid, I loved Pokemon, okay? I would do anything I could just to play more Pokemon. Now that I'm a level 10 Paladin, it seems like I have to make every excuse to not have to play Pokemon. I can't quite escape because by this point it is actually my job, but it really feels like Pokemon is just kind of a backdrop, an excuse to be able to try and do much more interesting things, like create crazy overlays and talk to the people who are bored enough to show up and also see what's going on with the Pokemon franchise. Hey, maybe the true treasure of Area Zero was the friends we made along the way. I wouldn't give your friends this game, though. They might not be your friends for much longer. Speaking of Area Zero, you want a numerical score for this review? Here it is. You'll never guess. I give it an Area 0 out of 10. Thanks for watching.